This is my boy, Soft Boy.
Be my night sky.
Hey there everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Fran and you are now entering the Franiverse. Current population, 12 on YouTube. On Twitch we have another 18 members and on TikTok we have 86 members. I'll do the math later. It's this number. Anyway, so today I thought I would expose myself. I used to write a lot in my notes section of my iPad, and I also happen to write fan fiction. That's right, I wrote actual fan fiction, posted it out for people to read, and people kind of liked it, depending on what it was. There were only 2 to 3 stories that I actually genuinely finished. Everything else is literally started, then stopped, because I got distracted. So we are going to be looking at a few of my cringe-worthy stories, as well as other written things I've written, yeah. So, there is a Percy Jackson fan fiction that I wrote I wrote this July 11th, 2014. It's called A Daughter of Poseidon Story Riley. I did keep her character and I did keep most of her background and story, and I adapted her into like a character. So like here, you can see me using her in TikToks. This is my first ever original character that I made, so she's near and dear to my heart. It's just the fact that I wrote fan fiction with her that kind of makes me cringe. It's fine. Anyways, oh, I'm already cringing. I haven't even, okay. First chapter is called Demigod, Satyrs, and Elves, Oh My. It was a normal day. Well, almost normal. The morning at home was normal. Mom and Dad screaming at my 3 brothers to get ready for school, my brothers bugging me yelling at them to go away. You know, the usual. However, school is a completely different story. As usual, the popular kids came over to me and my friend Ethan. Ethan has something wrong with his legs, and he has to use crutches to get around. They came over with that I'm all that air around them. Oh, this is physically paining me to read. I hate this. I've taken writing classes now, so I now look at this and go, first off, the writing structure is garbage. Second, let's continue. Oh well, look, it's the Crip and the Geek. One of the girls with perfectly straight, dirty blonde hair told us. Oh look, it's the Burby wannabes, I retorted. Shouldn't you both be in the loser group? No, shouldn't you be in a plastic box? The girl glared at me before another one of the 3 stepped forward. Ethan, why do you bother hanging out with such a dork? You have so much potential to become a cool guy, a girl with wavy brown hair said. Sorry, Serena, but Riley is my friend, and I'm not about to abandon her for fakes like you, Ethan replied. Oh well, if you ever change your mind, you know where to find me. Let's go, ladies, Serena said, flipping her hair and walking away. Jeez, I really was that girl when I was 14. Ooh, the other 2 mimicked her hair flip and followed behind her. Flip, flip. I glared dagger at their backs as they walked away. I really didn't go back to edit this, I just wrote and published. We walked into class and froze. There was this reptile bird thing in the classroom. Ethan pulled me out of the doorway. What was that? Why is it here? What? Hello? What the hell? There's no time to explain. I need to take you somewhere. But just keep running. There was a flash of light and then soon we were running through trees. Almost like a forest? Where were we? Ethan led me uphill where a giant sign loomed in the distance. Ethan went flying against a tree. He collapsed, a small trail of blood along the corner of his mouth. I looked at what made him go flying. But it can't be. They aren't real. A tall minotaur stood with red eyes glaring at me. The thing was almost as tall as the trees. I ran over to Ethan trying to wake him up. Ethan, you've got to wake up, I begged, pulling on his shirt. The minotaur started walking toward us. I picked up Ethan and laid him against a tree before running to distract the monster away from him. Yikes. I'm gonna skip ahead to a different part. Right, this is the chapter called I Have Another Brother. When I asked for some help, they gave me this cake thing called ambrosia. I had to smell it first to see if it tasted any good. Sadly, I couldn't smell anything, so I just ate it. It tasted amazing, just like my mom's pan dulce. The pain in my head went away, but was replaced with a pain in my heart. The realization that I was miles away from home, family, and friends hit me hard. I spaced out and my feet began moving. I didn't know where I was going, but I trusted my instincts. Before long, I was at beach. Alright. I could hear someone calling my name from the distance, but I blocked it out. I sat on the beach and put my headphones in. You know, like the typical edgy... like the typical edgy teenager I was. Ugh, you don't understand me. Let me just put my earbuds in and turn out the world. I was that kid. I honestly was that kid. I don't know if I still am. I kind of am, kind of not. My iPod Shuffle was in my pocket when we left. Guess I'll just have to hide it if I'm not allowed to have it. Why did I write this? My feet were on the edge of the sand where the water touched it. I hugged my knees and let the tears roll down silently. I'm alone. I have no friends to enjoy this sunset with, no family to go home and to tell my day to. Nothing. I had the music on so loud that I never heard Percy come up to me. I pulled an earbud out and turned the volume down. Hey Percy, I mumbled. Why are you crying? Are you alright? I turned my head so I could see him better. He did actually look like he was concerned. There was something about him that... familiar and welcoming. Well, there's no one else here who I know. I guess he's okay. It fell silent for a few seconds until I heard Percy gasp. I scrambled to my feet. What? What is it? I have another sister. What? Who? Then he was bowing. What the crap? All hail Riley, daughter of Poseidon. What? I looked at my reflection in the water and saw a trident glowing above my head. Whoa, could this day get any better? I have another sister? I have another brother, I said, face-palming myself. Ooh, why am I like this? I can't believe I actually did this to myself. Not only do I wish this was gone, but my writing instinct is telling me go back and rewrite it, go back and rewrite it. You need to go back and rewrite it. So yeah, that's my first one that I wrote. It's finished, apparently. I decided I was done with that story. I also used a different fan fiction to reference when I was doing this. Someone else had written a Daughter of Poseidon fan fiction that I found, and I really liked her main character. And so me being me, I was like, you know, what if I had my character be related to that one? Connect the two. I didn't want to like involve the author in any way. I was like, hey, I'm gonna just yoink. Yeah, no, I just kind of took the character. I feel bad now, actually, that I think about it. I totally didn't ask for permission to take this character. I was just like, yeah, I'm related to this character from another fanfiction. Anyways, moving on from one cringeworthy story to the next. The next story is called The Tales of Crazy Jessie. I wrote this freshman year of high school, and I managed to get one of my friends to help me write this during school. I would literally airdrop her the stuff I wrote because we had iPads at school. So when we were supposed to be working, I would airdrop her the writing document we were sharing, and we would go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and we wrote a story together. I don't know how I did this. I think I just sent her a text one day and was like, do you like creepypasta? And then she was like, no, what's that? And then I sent her pictures of fan art, and it went downhill from there. I apologize in advance. I apologize for my past behavior. If you see this video, Kaylin, yeah, I'm sorry. I dragged you into that. Let us begin, shall we? Chapter 1, A Tragic Life. I think I wrote this in third person. I tried to write this in third person. Jessica Edwards' life started tragically. It all started when she was 4 years old. She was asleep with her baby sister Juliana when a scream came from her mother's room. Juliana was still asleep. Jessica jumped out of bed and rushed over to the room to see a man plunge a knife into her mother's chest. She couldn't do anything but stare. The man wore all black and towered over the small child. He smiled a crooked smile, then ran out through the window. Jessica didn't know what to do. She heard her sister begin to whimper in the next room. She quickly went and picked up the infant out of her cradle. She put on a jacket over her blue V-neck shirt and packed a few clothes into a black bag. Okay, if I was a 4-year-old, the concept of I need to get out of here because my parents were just murdered would not have been a thing. I took some creative liberties there. 4 years old and running out of the house with a baby. There's no way that could have happened. She didn't even know where to go, but she packed some stuff for her baby sister as well. She rushed out the door with the baby held close to her chest. Tears began to well up in her eyes. She knew what had just happened. Her parents had just died in front of her, and she had no other family she knew about. Oh my god. Why was I such an idiot? I can't believe I wrote this. No, I do believe I wrote this. She had been running for hours through the streets of Brooklyn. She was out of breath and was tired. She leaned against a wall and dozed off. She was awakened by someone touching her shoulder. She jolted awake and scrambled to her feet. In front of her was a woman with a few children behind her. She looked the girl up and down. "Do you have any parents?" she asked flatly. Jessica could only shake her head. "No." Spelled K-N-O-W. The woman groaned. "Add 2 more kids to the list. Come on, we'll take you back to the orphanage," she groaned. Jessica nodded and followed the group of kids. The orphanage was a dump. It smelled of urine, there were webs everywhere, and the sheets were covered in dirt and the floor was cracked with parts of it missing. The baby in her arm shifted. There was a nursery, but that room was just as trashed and filthy. Jessica knew she had no choice, so she put the baby down in one of the empty cradles. She took another look around the orphanage and she knew that this was what she was going to have to deal with for a while. I wish I could just go back in time and slap myself across the face and be like, why? Why did you do this? Why would you think this is a good idea? If I remember correctly, which I probably do, the story was this girl and her sister ran away from home after her parents got murdered. And she got picked up to an orphanage, one that is trash, essentially. And the kids at the orphanage were bullies. The woman who was taking care of all of the kids was essentially a Miss Hannigan. She didn't give a crap. She was just doing it to get paid. Eventually, her sister died of, I said pneumonia. And so, because she was alone and didn't have anyone to help her cope with the bullying of the other orphan kids, she snapped. Her choice of weapon was some dirty, rusty scissors that were laying around. And she stabbed and chopped and sliced and diced the orphanage kids, as well as the caretaker. How old was she when she did that? I don't even remember how old I made her when that happened. If I remember how I used to write my characters, I set the main character's age as the same age as I was at the time I wrote the story. Major cringe, major bad, I know, we're just gonna keep going. Anyway, this chapter is called Stalking 101. Switch to first person. I really did that. I casually walked back to the mansion in the dark. My shirt was heavy with blood, my hair was soaked in it, and my shoes were covered in it. You learn to get used to it. I entered the forest and saw other creatures enter it as well. I opened the door and went up to my room. I changed out of my stained clothing, leaving only my bra and jeans. Grammar check! I had just pulled out a clean black V-neck when Ben came into my room through the TV. "Ben, get out! I'm done changing," I screamed at him. Grammar check part 2! Ooh, we didn't edit this at all. He smirked and covered his eyes before heading out. I quickly covered the TV with a blanket and threw on the shirt. I took off the blanket and tapped the glass 3 times to let him know I was done. He came back into the room with a big smile playing across his face. "Well, that was interesting," he said. "Shut up, I'm tired and cranky now." "Why so cranky?" he asked, sitting on my bed. "The girl caught me jumping out the window," I mumbled. "Dude, not cool. Did she see you run off?" "I don't think so." "She was probably too busy screaming from the pain," I said, smiling at the thought. "Slender Man said specifically not to get caught until you are skilled enough to actually kill if they catch you. They could have told their parents." "I'm not worried about the parents. I can handle them perfectly." "I'm tired, Ben. I'm going to go to bed." "Oh, I see what I did there." "Can you stay tonight, please?" I asked quietly. Ben nodded in understanding. He went into the TV and changed. I slipped on some PJ pants that were Jess when I first came here. They were blood red with knives on them. Go figure. When Ben came back, he was wearing a green t-shirt and pants. At least he's wearing something. Ew. He was one of my best friends here, and I was constantly asking him to stay. I couldn't handle being alone very well. We both crawled into my bed. He snapped his fingers and the lights went off. "Oops, sorry I forgot to do that," I mumbled, already falling asleep. "No worries, I got it. Thanks." The voices told me to do it though, and I knew that I had to listen to them. I couldn't stop myself either, I said, starting to cry. He vanished. I watched as the one light that was on in the house flickered and then burst. The computer, or TV light, was on and glowing. I walked to the front door and picked the lock. I got in and slowly walked upstairs. I could hear a male voice shaking in fear. I don't remember if that was the voice in her head speaking, or if she had a telepathic communication with Ben drowned. I honestly don't remember what I was trying to do there. Crazy Jessie had 195 likes, 30 comments, and 24,616 reads. And then my other stuff is less than that, 44 likes, 10 likes. Oh, my Tracer one had 178. I have a lot of drafts here too. I'm not gonna say where these stories are. You might be able to find them if you look up the title of them, but that's all I'm gonna give you guys. Next up, we have the notes. I thought I was so cool writing down like lyrics and poems in my notes section. You know, aside from like the homework that I had to do last minute, and so I wrote it in notes and turned it in saying like, oh look, I did it, yay. There's no title, but I'll read what it says. Mr. Music Man, please come home fast. My brain is pounding with the thoughts of the past. Mr. Music Man, please hold me in your arms. The fears in my head are giving me a fright. Mr. Music Man, protect me. The home I once knew is now gone. Oh, Mr. Music Man, just hold close. You're the only one who can help. With your hands over my ears, the world around me disappears. I feel the beat of your heart, sometimes as loud and soothing as drums. Mr. Music Man, do come quick, because everything is too loud. Madam Melody, give me your hands. I'm longing for the steady rhythm. Madam Melody, come dance with me. Only your feet can keep up with my beat. Madam Melody, lend me your heart so I might play your soul. Oh, Mr. Music Man, just hold close. You're the only one who can help. Okay, that's a repeat of... That was supposed to be the refrain, I guess. Reality is crippling and I need an escape. Mr. Music Man and Madam Melody, please take me away. When I'm with you, I feel so safe. Each word and sound, every letter and noun, get me through this game called life. Yeah. On to the next one. I'm not sure I wrote this one. I don't know why, but I read it and I'm like, I don't think I wrote this. This one isn't mine. This is not my poem. We're gonna have to exit. It's getting worse, the knot in my stomach. I can't help but keep thinking it was my fault. Was it my fault? Going through the last 24 hours in my head, nothing is sending up alarms. So why the cold shoulder? Why keep pushing me away? Was it the words I said or the actions I did? I can't sort it out on my own. I'll tell you what, my back is hurting. The longer it goes, the worse it feels. My fight or flight is set. The instinct to run on hold. I know I should stand my ground, but the past is threatening me. The mistakes I've made and the trouble I've caused, they're coming back to haunt me. The yelling is loud and the crying an echo. I never meant to do any of it. I'm only human and I make big mistakes. That's something I know to a fault. But I can't fix them with nothing to see that is broken. I think I know what this poem is about. I'm pretty sure the poem has to do with a fight that I got in with my friend. I tend to have this fear that when people go on silence, that I did something wrong, and I immediately think, I should have done something, I should have known, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have said that. And so basically, this poem is anxiety. 1, 2, 3, and breathe. Great, it didn't work and no relief. 5, 6, 7, 8, now my heart is filling with hate. It's not for you, but for me. A loaded gun is staring at my heart. The more it stays, the more my heart grows dark. I know the gunmen and they aren't a threat, but the gun pointed at me is getting to my head. You won't pull the trigger, but the voices disagree. They are taking control and want me to flee. It's childish, really, the choice to run, when there is no harm in an unloaded gun. You put on the mask to hide your face, but I see. I know the person you're keeping from me. You're good and pure, that's a fact. There is no truth behind your attack. You're scared and hurt by something I can't see, but if you put the gun down, I can fight it with glee. It hurts me to see you in such pain, however the gun brings me disdain. There is no use for it here, you're just getting me upset. I am not here to hurt you, how could you forget? The fact you're pointing it straight at my heart is already like a killing dart. You don't trust me and I don't get why. To make you cry isn't something I'd try. As big as the heavens is my love for you, yet you cannot believe it to be true. Seeing this gun is making me mad. I don't want this to get bad. My old instincts are starting to take hold, to run away instead of being bold. It is easier to get mad or angry. I wrote mad, not mad. Ooh! We were really angsty, weren't we? Honestly though, I could see myself still writing something like this today because it's not that far from my mindset still. I still deal with a lot of anxiety, and so if something doesn't feel right or there is a negative emotion and I feel it is directed at me, essentially this poem is how I feel. So that's all I have for you guys today. You can hit me up anywhere, such as Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or Discord. You know, I've kind of covered all the bases in terms of social media platforms. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I can do more videos like this if you want. I will know with that thumbs up. But in the meantime, I will see you guys later and enjoy the internet. Bye-bye.